Let's recap, review 1985's Fletch, starring Chevy Chase, as I stumble my way through a game of Stumble Guys. On the 24th weekend of 1985, Rambo First Blood Part 2 defended the top spot at the box office for the fifth week in a row, and the Goonies, still unable to find the treasured number one position, remained in the number two spot. Since I have already recapped, reviewed these two movies, I shall monologue about the number three movie of the week, Fletch. Fletch is a comedy mystery starring the Saturday Night Live veteran Chevy Chase as the titular character Irwin M. Fletcher, aka Fletch. He is a wisecracking investigation journalist who uses the nom de plume of Jane Doe because, in his own words,
"But the hay's better than Irwin."
The movie opens on a beach in Los Angeles where our hero is dressed as a sunburned beach bum. Fletch is undercover sniffing around for a drug trafficking story because, in the words of every 1980s public service announcement,
drugs are bad.
Underneath a pier, a wealthy executive, Alan Stanwyck, propositions
I'll give you $1,000 cash.
What?
to come with him back to his place. Fletch accepts Mr. Stanwyck's invitation out of a journalistic curiosity, and, $1,000 can be helpful for a struggling investigative journalist. At Stanwyck's luxurious home, he proceeds to tell Fletch that he only has months to live because of a bone cancer diagnosis. Rather than succumbing to this terminal diagnosis naturally, Stanwyck offers Fletch $50,000 to fake a break-in and kill him. Fletch smells something fishy, and Stanwyck's mansion is nowhere close to the pier. He believes there is a story to be had, so he puts on his investigation pants and he begins to investigate. I guess that's what you would do with those pants. With the help of his assistant Larry, played by the highly accomplished Geena Davis. Yes, that's part of the comedy of this movie is Geena Davis plays a character named Larry. Ha 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 ha. However, back to it. With the help of his assistant Larry, Fletch discovers who Stanwyck's doctor is and proceeds to go undercover with the alias Arnold Babar. Babar is just one of the many mildly chuckle-inducing fake identities that Fletch gives.
Babar.
Mr.
Nugent. Ted Nugent.
Help you, Dr.
Oh, it's me, Dr. Rosenpenis. I'm just here to check
Dr.
out
who?
Stanwyck's file. Dr. Rosenrose, and I'm here to get to the records
again.
room. It's Dr. Rosen.
No, John who?
John Cocktoastone.
Sugar Mr. Poon?
My name is Igor Stravinsky.
Name's Liddy. Gordon Liddy.
Fletch goes undercover as a patient with kidney pains to see Stanwyck's doctor, Dr. Dolan, who is played by the late Emmett Walsh. His visit to the good doctor provides him with no information except that,
We don't want to do that.
thanks to a very thorough exam, his kidneys are fine and he's quite healthy. And for us viewers, we get some of the more laugh-out-loud moments in the movie.
100%. Moon River.
Still suspicious, Fletch does what any nosy journalist would do. He impersonates a doctor, where he gains access to Stanwyck's medical records and discovers the truth. Alan Stanwyck does not have cancer. Dun dun dun. After leaving the hospital and stopping by a racket club so we can just be introduced to Alan's charming wife Gail and some uppity pompous I'm better than everyone here turd bucket, Mr. Underhill.
Just a minute, I'm not finished yet.
Sorry, Mr. Underhill.
Does that look like I'm finished?
I guess not.
Now I'm finished.
Fletch goes to see Gail's father, disguised as a USEC employee. Her father is the owner of a private airstrip, Boyd Aviation. The ridiculous disguise, a band-aid under his nose, pays off, I guess, because Fletch learns about a $3 million ranch purchase in Provo, Utah. Alan purchased the real estate with $3 million of Gail's personal funds. While looking into Stanwyck's connection to Utah,
Utah.
Yeah, Utah. It's wedged in between Wyoming and Nevada. You've seen pictures.
Fletch and Larry discover an interesting twist to Fletch's drug trafficking story.
Did you say cops?
Yeah.
Because that's the one thing I did find. It's from last month, so it was in the unsorted file.
Stanwyck and Police Chief Garland have an association. This strikes Fletch's curiosity because moments earlier, he watched two of Carlin's sketchy police officers aggressively snatch a friend of his from the beach. Getting the newspaper to finance a trip to Utah, Fletch hops a jet to sleuth the $3 million property. With the grace of Fred Astaire, he sneaks through the window of the realtor who sold the property, files through the files, finds Stanwyck's files, opens Stanwyck's files, and what's this? The property was purchased for $3,000? Now, this was no clerical error of simply forgetting a 0 or 3. The agreement is literally spelled out $3,000. As Fletch returns home from the state wedged between Wyoming and Nevada, the police chief Carlin wants to ask the wisecracking journalist not to print the drug trafficking expose. But rather than sending an invitation by mail, this was 1985, there was no email, so don't try to say, why would he not send an email? It's 1985, there is no email. Okay, so he could have at least sent a letter, but no, he doesn't send a letter. He sends two of his corrupt detectives to arrest Fletch on trumped-up drug possession charges. At the jail, Carlin threatens to give Fletch a sixth orifice in his head
Blow your brains out.
and make it look like an attempted escape. Carlin really wants to make it abundantly clear how badly he does not want this write-up to show up in the paper. Fletch agrees and turns his attention to his personal interest story, Alan Stanwyck and his mysterious home in Utah. He puts on his best Val Kilmer look-alike costume and goes to Boyd Aviation to snoop around. Jabberjawing with two plane mechanics, he learns that Stanwyck's little trips to Utah are burning enough fuel for a trip to South America. It's back to the tennis club again. Oh, there goes Fletch, he does. Wait, why does that sound familiar? Never mind. Anyways, our journalist of the hour, or should I say hour and a half, goes back to the club to inform Gail of her husband's secret life. While heading to Gail's cabana, he tries to stick it to the domineering, self-important, smug, my farts don't stink jerkhole.
Like something to eat or drink, senor?
Actually, I would.
Charge it to the Underhill, senor.
Yeah, that's right.
By ordering an elaborate $400 lunch to be delivered to Mrs. Stanwyck's cabana and put on the Underhill's tab. Over the fine luncheon, he informs Gail of her husband's shady activity. The wonderful lobster and caviar luncheon is interrupted by an angry Mr. Underhill pounding on her door.
Mrs. Stanwyck!
What could have Mr. Underwear's panties in such a bunch? I don't know. Sniffing out and once again picking up on the trail of Alan Stanwyck, the investigative reporter follows him to witness an interesting exchange. The sneaky Mr. Bone Cancer receives a suitcase of what can only be assumed to be cash from the chief of bad cops, Garland. A police chase, which is accompanied by the iconic synth-driven music of 80s pop, shortly follows this money exchange, and is probably the most action you're going to find in this movie. To escape the police, Fletch commandeers / carjacks a convertible in hopes of evading the cops. Now, I believe the purpose of this scene is actually only to be an educational moment for criminals. Because if you are running from the police and you decide to escape using a vehicle, don't pick one that they can easily identify you in. Like a convertible with the top down. However, whatever, I digress. Through some rigmarole of hiding out at a Shriners-like gathering, our hero evades the dirty pigs. Knowing that Chief Carlin still has the police following him, Fletch flies once again to Utah to track a Sally Kavanaugh. This mystery woman is connecting up with Alan in Utah as he flies to Rio de Janeiro? In Utah, Fletch has an aha moment. Or maybe I should say he has a Utah moment. This Sally Kavanaugh is Alan Stanwyck's wife, his second wife. It all adds up now for Fletch. And rather than souring the ending of this comical mystery, I will stop here. Because some mysteries are better left unknown, and some are better discovered for yourself. One mystery I will not leave you with, though, is what I thought of this 1985 cult classic. Now, I don't recall ever having seen this movie before this time that I've gone to watch it so I can do this recap review. But if I had, I am sure I would have enjoyed it. This movie is a lot of fun and entertaining for any 1985 audience. Chevy Chase brings his SNL king of deadpan one-liner comedy. However, I don't think it completely holds up for today's audiences. There are scenes that seem just to be fillers, almost like these scenes were added because the editors got done and realized how short the movie would be. And so they're like, yikes, we need more movies so we can have 90 minutes of runtime. There's scenes like Fletch being hunted down for his alimony and a dream he has that involves Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. It just, some scenes just didn't seem to be necessary. And the comedy is clever at first, but about halfway through, it gets old. It's like a Saturday Night Live sketch in the 2020s. You know, great in concept, but overstays its welcome. If you want an action comedy that stars an SNL alumnus trying to solve a mystery and that is enjoyable all the way through, watch Beverly Hills Cop. It has the same quick, witty one-liners and the noticeably identical orchestrated score. In short, fun, yes. Timeless, not quite. But it's worth a watch if you don't have Beverly Hills Cop on hand and you want a nostalgic trip of the 1980s hijinks, fake names, and good dose of deadpan jokes. I give Fletch 3 newspapers out of 5. There it is, 1985's Fletch, recapped and reviewed for you. Do you remember Fletch? Do you think it still holds up? What stupid jokes did you not enjoy of the movie or even this episode? Also, you can watch more of the Stumble Guys gameplay along with my commentary on my other channel, Doodle Brain Gaming. So, until you see me next time, like, subscribe if you have not already, and go find a movie to enjoy.